season being televised again. January 24th will be the first TV. January 24th will be
Yes, January 24th against San Antonio, the first televised game, and it'll be for 5 of them at now, and they're on 5 of them, my 4th from the WUAB, so look forward to that WUAB team. So Lake Erie Monsters tonight, kind of Lake Erie Monsters schedule, but TV Manziel coincide with some being promotional night, coincide with some
I
big
was just going to
promotional
mention that because I said, hey, knowing a little bit about the promotion and trying to look what's in the seats, that's a good idea, though, to combine that because you want your televised audience to be the largest that you can for TV and large great atmosphere. So, for the pretty good job there to time those together. Out there, it starts January 25th locally here on my TV, WUAB 43. People will be able to see a handful of Monsters games coming up this year, but you can get down to the queue. Last 2 chances to see them on this homestand here coming up this week. Milwaukee and Grand Rapids Thursday and Saturday, then off for the week. Doug, next week, hopefully you and I can get a chance to catch up here before you guys start the post-holiday run with 3 games in, 4 days there? 3 games in 5 days?
three road games. Some old familiar faces from the Monsters days in the North Division, Rochester and Utica will immediately follow Christmas, and then another game against Milwaukee. If you think we got, if you were getting tired of Grand Rapids in the first part of the season, you're going to get tired with Milwaukee as the thing wears on here. They've got 8 more games against the Admirals starting tomorrow night.
And you guys, as I said, can see it at the queue. You can hear Doug Plagens call the action across the Monsters radio network, and you'll be able to see a handful of those games starting in January on Channel 43. Doug, go do your community work, my friend. Thank you for taking a few moments here to talk to us, and I look forward to catching up with you. Just in case we can't next week, though, I definitely want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all of that stuff. And either way, I look forward to catching up with you next week, hopefully, and seeing where things are with the Monsters.
Started to cut out on me. Do you hear me?
There you are.
Oh,
Doug.
there he is.
Just wishing you happy holidays in case we don't catch up next week, and but I hope we do, and I look forward to doing it again next week.
Oh, sounds good. Same to you. Take care, and we will be talking for sure.
Go do your thing with the Gladiators in the community, my friend. We'll talk next week.
Thanks very much. Talk to you soon.
You got it. That's Doug Plagens, voice of both the Gladiators and the Lake Erie Monsters here, and of course, friend of the Sports Fix with us every week here on the show. All right, guys, let's take the final break of the show. Come back. We got a preview a Cavaliers game. Cavs playing some hoops tonight. We'll get the stage set for that. Set the stage for tomorrow's edition of the Sports Fix and wrap things up. Don't go anywhere. Final segment of the Sports Fix coming your way next, right here on the Sports Fix Radio Network. We'll be right back.
I feel like a monster. My secret side I keep hid under lock and key.
I'm Pro Football Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. There's just one place where students are students first and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports help young people become confident leaders and role models and use the skills developed today to do even bigger things in life tomorrow. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
What if it wasn't always about getting ahead? What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? What if your career goals were to change? Instead of flying off to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? To embark on a different track, to volunteer in ways you never dreamed of, in places you never imagined yourself being. Like a tiny island in the Pacific, barely visible on a map, but where needs are easy to see. Or a village on the African continent, where just a little training in HIV awareness can change the fate of thousands. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix. Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize.
I mean, a really real prize.
Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs. There's literally only one place to go. FantasyJocks.com.
Timeout! Okay, guys, Summers really had his bell rung and could have a concussion. I'm pulling him out for the game. Rodriguez, you're in for Summers.
Come on, Coach. It's just a ding. I'll shake it off.
Yeah, he's tough. Plus, we need to win this to make the playoffs.
Listen, we're a team and we need to look out for each other. Concussions are serious. No game is more important than your health.
Take concussions out of play. If you're a coach, know the warning signs and never let athletes return to play before a healthcare professional says it's okay. A message from CDC.
Hi, this is Patrick Borlow from Cleveland Lake Erie Monsters, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Come on, kids! Welcome back to the Sports Fix, final segment here on the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock, Jerry Myers back with you guys as we wind things down. Thanks. Hey, sorry for the abbreviated segment there with Doug Plagens. Timing issues and all of that led to it being shorter than usual. We'll definitely pick back up with Doug and a more extended conversation. Hey, I'm glad that he found 15 minutes for us in the middle of doing some hospital visits, man. That's my man Doug Plagens, the ultimate professional here, joining us on the Fix. But thanks to Doug Plagens, thanks to Dan Wismar for joining us here earlier in the show. Always fun. John McMullen from the Sports Network, the voice of reason on John Manziel Mountain, and so much more. Thank you guys for being with us. Yes, Charles in the chat room. By the way, my man Charles just showed me, he was talking about the Jackets, of course, reminding me that they've won 7 in a row, back-to-back shootouts, undefeated in December. Hey, they've got a hole to dig out of from the way they started that season. But I'm more intrigued with the other note that he dropped to me here, and I just looked it up myself, looking at this. Man, 20 shootouts, 20 rounds, longest. It's an NHL record for the most number of shootouts. The Panthers win it, but wow. Florida, Washington, 20 shootout rounds there it took to finish that one off, man. Interesting stuff there. But the Jackets getting themselves together. I know, Charles, many of you out there, Blue Jackets fans too. So thank you, Charles, for the update. And, man, that's some stuff, though, man. 20 shootout rounds, man. That's a hell of a deal there to sit through. What's up with the mumps too? By the way, as I was checking out the story on that shootout, I saw that dealing with some issues, testing players there. I mean, that's no stuff to mess around with. Obviously, very infectious disease there. Interesting to see them dealing with that stuff. You never like to see that. That's the kind of stuff. Like, remember when the Browns had MRSA going around like crazy? I think it had Joe Jurevicius and a couple of other guys, Charles. They all ended up suing the Browns over that, man. Whatever. That was years of that. Remember, they like disinfected the place and cleaned it, and people were still getting MRSA left and right from that place, man. What was that, 2008? I don't know. I just remember that. Of course. I mean, why not? Because everything. Why not? Of course, because Cleveland. I mean, how else do you answer that? But anyways, thanks for the update there on that one, Charles, and we'll talk some more about no, we won't. I always forget to mention the Jackets until Charles yells at me in the chat room. But as long as Charles yells at me every day, I'll continue to update it and and talk to you guys about a little Blue Jackets hockey, man. Hey, look, man, I love Monsters hockey. I tell you guys all the time. NHL game, I do the best I can to keep up with it. You know what? I actually do hear from people. It's a very small number. I can't lie, but I do hear from people that go, man, I'd love it if you talked a little more NHL on the show. And they are right. And hey, look, I do niche stuff for everybody. It's not like the group of Monsters fans is the largest in the world. Same thing with people that play fantasy football, with people that follow the CSU Vikings. I get it. And I get it. Blue Jackets fans yell at me, deservedly so, because I I'm not on the game like I should be, man. I'm going to just blame it on the 2.5 hours between Cleveland and Columbus, and it always keeps them on my peripheral vision, but never directly in front of me, except when Charles jumps up and down and goes, hey, man, you're going to ignore the Blue Jackets 18 days in a row? And so there you go. But I should get, I definitely need to involve that a little more too, because I try to do a little touch on everything, even if Johnny Manziel dominates the majority of the sports talk time here on a day like today. Hey guys, speaking of today, oh, by the way, real quick, I meant to bring this up with Dan Wismar earlier, but Ali Luck, of course, you guys, Cleveland here, the ties, and of course, father of Andrew Luck. He's going to become the second in command, stepping down at West Virginia, going to become the second in command for the NCAA, which, I don't know, that almost strikes me as becoming the commander of the Civil Army right before the war was over, taking over the South, because I don't think the NCAA is going to exist in a couple of years, at least not in its present incarnation. That's for sure. I think we've talked about that before. There's a lot of changes coming. I think the whole thing's going to have to be dissolved because of all the different problems, lawsuits, all the different things tied in. But for now, Oliver Luck is going to become second in command to Mark Emmert there in the NCAA. But Ollie Luck, I remember it was the first time I heard about him was when I went to Ignatius, and they talked about the charity game and Ollie Luck and all of that stuff. But anyway, so Oliver Luck joining the staff at the NCAA. Wanted to update you guys on that. I wanted to talk to Dan about it. I wanted to talk to Dan about the bowl games too, so I hope we do get a chance to catch up next week before bowl season gets rolling too much, because there's some good ones coming up, and I was going to preview a few of those with him. But as you know, the train quickly falls off the tracks, and then we end up here. We're scrambling to put it back together. Cavaliers and Hawks. Let's get there and put this show back together. Wrap it up with that. Cavs back in action tonight at the Q. Q's been a busy place. The Monsters played there. They had WWE pay-per-view there. Cavaliers playing there. In and out. Rotating, man. Q staying busy and hopping here at this time of the year. Tonight, Cavs take their turn back on center stage. They're taking on the Hawks, who are coming in different than the previous Atlanta Hawks time that they came and took on the Cavs. Remember, when they came, Cavs just absolutely obliterated the Atlanta Hawks, took them to piece, just took them to task, and went to town, as we know. And that was when the Cavs were struggling. What did they have? The 40-point first quarter, hit their first 8 or 9 threes in a row, and they just absolutely dominated. That was like the first good, real big wow, look at what the Cavs can do when they hit it on all cylinders. But look at Atlanta since then. That was back in the middle of November, so you've had about a month since then. Atlanta's turned themselves around. They're now 17-7. They've got one of the best records in the Eastern Conference, so they've definitely bounced back from that. We talk about how the Cavs kind of responded from that loss to Toronto there, and they called, fragile. Yeah, we know about all that. But same thing here. Atlanta, when they were taken to task by the Cavs, they have definitely responded to that. And much of, interestingly, a lot of things they've done, it's very similar to the way the Cavs have started to dig out of their early season hole. And it's with playing some defense and moving the ball. The Cavaliers, we talk about how David Blatt loves the ball movement. That's the predicating thing about his offense. It has to happen in the recent streak for the matter of fact, no, I'm sorry, it's for the entire season. Hawks, all but 2 games this year, have 20 or more assists, which is a good number for a team to have. And their field goals, there's an assist attached almost 70% of the time. That is offensive efficiency. That's good stuff. Think about that. 7 out of every 10 baskets that the Hawks make comes with an assist from a teammate on the other end. That's a hell of an efficient number right there, and that explains big as can be right there why they are where they are so far. And we've seen them. They just beat Chicago. For those of you guys that didn't see that, they went to Chicago and took care of business the other day. So this team can definitely play some ball, and they're definitely coming here looking to pay the Cavaliers back for what they went through the other night. Kevin Love may not play, by the way. I don't have anything official on this, but he's a game-time decision from what I'm hearing here tonight. So that's a big weapon that you don't want to be down and without. Mike Miller set to return back to the game here. He's been out with a concussion. Definitely expect to see him take some minutes as well. So that'll be something to at least balance that off. But you're not balancing off Kevin Love with Mike Miller, just keeping it real. Look at by the way, Kevin Love